What is happening, you Titans fans? We got Gabriel and Josiah, the Titan Bros. We are back for a not as happy as a video as we typically like to record. News came down this week that we have now two issues with two of our 2022 draft class members. One, Hassan Haskins, allegedly, I don't want him to sue us because we know he watches. Hassan Haskins allegedly got mad at his girlfriend, started strangling her. He's been arrested. So
I would not recommend.
Would not recommend strangling anyone. But I'm not as worried about that one. Like, maybe I shouldn't say this out loud, but even if we were to just cut him, I really don't care.
Especially after Tajay Sharp, but
Tajay
Spears, yeah.
Yeah, I do the same thing. Because Tajay, I only know two Tajays, and one's Sharp, one's Spears. So,
yeah.
And Spears are Sharp, so it's easy to get those confused. But yeah, I agree. Because let's be honest, Hassan Haskins is a one-trick pony. You just hand him the ball, and he just goes grrr, and just runs into the line. He's a power back, and honestly, he's a special teamer more than anything. Maybe I shouldn't say this out loud. I ain't worried about it.
He's good at two things: running straight line when he gets the ball and strangling his girlfriend. That's about it.
Yep, that's all he does. That's all he's good for. But of course, then again, it's allegedly, so you never know when it didn't actually happen. But he did get arrested, so it's not looking good for him. I ain't worried about that one little bit. Like, I'm not trying to be mean, but I just feel like we could get an undrafted free agent that did everything he did last year.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
Especially with the addition of Tajay Spears. So that's the end of that conversation. IMO. So we're moving on to the main topic of the video, which is Nicholas Petit-Frere. I don't know if it's the last word's one or two syllables. I don't know if it's Frere or just Frere.
I actually usually don't even know how to pronounce the name, so I'll let you go first. And
most people just call him NPF. NPF.
Yeah, you messaged me a couple of days ago, like NPF got suspended. I'm like, I don't have any clue who that is. I didn't know if that was a typo. I didn't know if it was a different sport. I didn't know. So I had to. I just went down Tennessee Titans, and the first article was like he got suspended. I'm like, oh, that's NPF. Okay.
Yeah, just don't understand what kind of a last name Petit-Frere is. But anyways, suspended for gambling, which I guess it could have been worse because there's 4 different players I think who got suspended. All the rest of them got suspended, I think, for the whole season.
Yeah, I did see that. That's odd.
The difference was they were betting on the NFL, which, what are you doing? You can't do that. Nicholas Petit-Frere apparently was betting on a different sport. The only reason he actually gets in trouble is apparently you can't bet in the Titans facility.
See,
which I think is dumb. I think it's really dumb. But if that's a rule, then why are you doing it?
Yeah, that's the thing. I agree with that. That's the rule. Don't do it. You just 6 weeks is still, it's not half the season, but that's still a big chunk of the season. That's a big chunk of the season.
It's a third of the season. If we go to a game that's 18 games, so 6 games will be a third of the season.
Yeah. So maybe it's a dumb rule, but you just let the team down. That's not good. Yeah, and I would say this. I was reading a lot of people discussing this and stuff, but they was talking more about the just bet on the football that shouldn't be not allowed. They're like, oh, you should be able to bet on yourself, and I think that's dumb because you could easily throw a game away. You know what I mean? You could say you could be a wide receiver, and then someone's like, hey, you throw this game, you get this much money, and all he has to do is drop a ball or throw it down or drop. And I'm like, this rule to me is very important. I think that's the you get rid of that rule, and then you get rid of the what's the one I'm looking for? The
integrity
of the game. Yes, that's exactly what I was looking for. Yeah. You would have a lot more people saying, "Oh, the game is rigged," than those even now if you didn't have that rule.
Yes, I'm 100% for players not betting on the sport that they're playing in. 100%. I do think, in my opinion, it is a dumb rule that you can't bet on other sports facility, but you can walk 5 steps out of the facility and then place that bet. So I think it's a dumb rule.
Yeah.
But if it's a rule, you have to follow it. So I don't think NPF is a problem off the field. Like everybody talked about how he's really smart and mature and good dude. I think he's just naive. I don't think he just wasn't paying attention in class and didn't know the rule about the betting and whatnot. But 6 games, at least it's not the whole season. So we're here to discuss today what we're going to try to do. I was like, what we're going to try to do, like we have any pull in it, but we're going to talk about what we would do if we were in control of the Tennessee Titans this season. So I guess the most logical thing would be, I don't know if logical is the right word, but would be to bring in a free agent. And I did a little bit of digging, and I could only find 2 that I was okay with. Did you do any digging on any?
I was gonna. I have one name that I like, but I was gonna let you do name by name and we discuss it.
I've only got 2 names, and then I'm going to talk about in-house options. But George Fant. George Fant is a tackle. I think he was for the Broncos the last couple of years, and he was just their starter the last couple of years. He apparently got injured, didn't play a full season either year, but he's 31. He's a veteran. He's somebody who should be able just to throw right in there and let be a serviceable starter. So that's why, George Fant, it's not a guy or a name that just like jumps off at you. But when it's July now, July the 1st, at least at the time of this recording. Now that we're into July, it's not like there's going to be any real nice big names.
Exactly. I agree. And we need him for only 6 weeks, hopefully.
And then he can just be our swing tackle for the rest of the season. Kind of like we needed Tyson Braylow to be that one year. Remember we signed him to be our swing tackle, and then he didn't like how much he was getting, how he wasn't getting to play much, like 5 weeks into the season and retire. I don't even remember we were into the season yet, and he was just retired, remember?
Yeah, that was
dumb. Because he knew he wasn't going to be a starter that year. But anyways, do you want me to go in with my second one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Maybe this is just living in the past, but Dennis Kelly is available.
Dennis Kelly, okay.
Yeah, now he's 33 years old now.
Oh.
That's the issue, but his brother is the offensive coordinator.
Those 2 are brothers?
Yeah, Dennis Kelly and Tim Kelly, which is funny because Tim Kelly was talking about somebody playing right tackle one time. He's like basically doing the same thing my big ugly brother used to do. Like, oh man, you just roasted your bro. But he is a big ugly guy. But anyways, but Dennis Kelly's 33. He played mostly right tackle for us when he played for us. I think he played a little bit of left tackle. But
did you say big bro?
Dennis Kelly's the younger.
Oh,
big, ugly brother because he's a big guy.
Oh, gotcha.
Wasn't he like 6'7"?
I'll tell you in a second. He is 6'8".
Yeah, so big, ugly brother. But so I would say he would probably easily, especially since he hasn't even been a starter, I don't think the last couple of years. He would easily take a veteran minimum contract and just say, hey, bro. Remember us? You can, be our starter for 6 games, and then afterwards you can just be our swing guy because we are, very, very fragile team. So we're going to need probably need to step in a lot for us.
I like that idea. He is a free agent. I like the Dennis Kelly one. The thing is also, if whoever we get isn't great, it is just for a 6 week thing, it's not for the whole season. But obviously you would like to take the best option available. Well, he doesn't slow you down in 6 weeks, but it's not the whole season. So Dennis Kelly was always solid for us when he had to fill in, but he was younger back then. But
yeah, that was one of our dumber cuts. Like, I remember when we cut him and Adoree Jackson, we come back to back, and I'm just like,
yeah, I remember thinking that, yeah.
Like, what was that? What was that about?
I'm like, if you cut some people, you need to replace them. And sometimes John Robinson didn't do that.
No.
But anyway, you and I talked about this guy before we started the video. He's old. He's really old, but he played last year, and he was actually really good. And they said he's a good run stopper because he's not run stopper, but
run block.
Yes, because he's still really strong. He might be a little sometimes slow on the blocking the edge, but it's Jason Peters. I liked him. I mean, maybe I am stuck in the fact that he's going to be a Hall of Famer for the Eagles. He was amazing, but just last year he played for the Cowboys. He was good. What do we like to do? We like to run, and they said he was still a really good run blocker last year because he was still big and strong. And Derrick Henry could tell you we definitely needed that. You know, we had like 3 or 4 people in the backfield every time he got the ball.
That is true. That is true. Of course, that's a lot because of how predictable we are.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, yeah, that's a solid option as well. He's 41.
Again, he's old, but the thing is, you just ask him to last for 6 weeks. That's all you're asking for. You know, you're not asking him to put a whole season in. Because that's the thing. In Dallas, he would do that too. I can't remember who the starting tackle was, but he went down. And basically, Jason Peter that got him just played the last half of the season, which he did good. But when you're old and you're 41, that's nice if you can only ask him to do 6, 7, 8 weeks instead of 16, 17 games, you know?
Yeah, I get that. The funny thing is, Vrabel, I think, is 47. So this guy's only 6 years younger than Mike Vrabel.
Yeah.
All right. So honestly, I would be okay if we signed any of those. And honestly, some of them, like George Fant, is technically more proven than Nicholas Petit-Frere, so it's possible.
Yeah, because honestly, to me, the book's still out on him.
I mean, yeah.
That's why he should be worried about what he did. And I'm like, you're not a solidified, I'm a starter in this league. And when you do something stupid like that, you're just asking to be benched. You know what I mean? So he needs to watch himself. Again, I'm not about to tag him as a troubled player or anything. But this is just a little nick on his resume. It's something that, if nothing else happens, you kind of forget about this. But if he does something else again, you can think back, oh, remember when he got suspended for 6 weeks as well, you know? So he's got to watch himself a little bit.
Yeah. Plus, I don't have him penciled in as a starter for next year. I don't mean 2023. I mean like 2024 and beyond. Because I feel like he started decent, and then I feel like he kind of like.
I agree. Like by the end of the year, I don't think I would say he was. These how he's playing the last couple of weeks was just bad, flat out bad. But the thing is, as long as you're across from you is Dennis Daly, you're gonna always be overshadowed because everyone's talking about how bad he is.
Yeah. Plus, he was playing next to Nate Davis, who was in and out of the lineup as always. Because I liked Nate Davis, but he did miss a lot of time. And then when he would be out, you'd put in Dylan Radins or just whoever next to him, and it just was a revolving door there. So they didn't give him any chip help with tight ends or anything, so they kind of just threw him out there. But I would give him like a C- if I was grading his rookie season. Yeah. So there's that. When it comes to the free agents, I'd be okay with any of those 3, just to be a stopgap until we get them back for week 7. Or technically, I think it's 6 weeks, and then I think the 7th week we're on our bye week. We have an early bye, and then he'll be back the following week. So at least we'll give him a chance to get acclimated to the offense and the offensive line and everything. So the in-house stuff that we're able to do. Daniel Brunskill has a lot of experience at right tackle. He's right now slated to play right guard. So if we could slide him over to right tackle, then we could sorry, I have somebody who just made an appearance. Say hi. Hi. Yeah, my son just woke up. But anyways, if we slid him over to right tackle, it would be easier to replace Brunskill at right guard, if that makes any sense. So Brunskill slides to right tackle where he has a decent amount of experience. We could bring in Jamarco Jones, or he's technically still on our team, but Jamarco Jones has guard and tackle experience. What other guards do we have? Corey Levin's a guard / center. Jordan Roos is a guard, I think. But honestly, I'm not loving our guard depth either. So that's why I'm not a huge fan of that. If we kept Brunskill at right guard and we went in-house for right tackle, again, Jamarco Jones has right tackle experience. I'm not sure how much, we trust him there. But also, this would be dangerous because I'd really want to see this guy in preseason before we did something bold like this. But our 6th round pick, Jalen Duncan.
I was thinking about that, actually.
And remember, a lot of people say he was the steal of the draft. They say he has all the physical tools to be a top-end offensive lineman in the NFL. The only issue is I think they said he didn't really work as hard, like I've heard. But you would think Vrabel would not let that stand. So
yeah, I would say that'd be interesting, but it is a lot to ask just to throw in a rookie and a 6th-round one at that, right in though. But I would say this though, if he does well, the team. No, what is it? Nicholas Petit-Frere. He needs to watch out because he might lose his job.
I mean, that's true. That's true. I mean, I think it would be a good problem because honestly, this is what happened to Andre Dillard and why we have him.
Yeah.
Because I think he tore his biceps or something like that one year and he missed the season. And I can't remember what their other tackle's name is that replaced him. I always forget what his name is, but he was a undrafted rookie, undrafted free agent. And he came in and played that really well that season. So then the next year during the offseason, Andre Dillard just never won his job back. And that's kind of how Andre Dillard became the backup there. Yeah. So, yeah, you're right. If Jalen Duncan actually plays well, same thing could happen to NPF. So, or an NPF could slide inside and be a guard because Brunskill's just a 1 year, $1.5 million deal is all it is for him.
Right.
Sorry, I have some communication over here. So that's my in-house options. Because I've heard some people say put Peter Skoronski at right tackle. I've heard a lot of people say that. And I'm like, this guy's a left guard / left tackle. Why are you going to want to try to overwhelm his rookie mind and throw him into a third position?
Yeah, that sounds like a bad idea. That sounds like trying to ruin a guy real fast.
Yeah, and then because then if we move him to right tackle, then suddenly we have to find somebody to play left guard. Like if you're gonna just put in like Jamarco Jones or somebody like that to play left guard, then why can't you just make Jamarco Jones play right tackle and just leave Skoronski where we know he's gonna play really, really, really well? So, that's one that I had heard, and I don't know how I feel about this, but Corey Levin is a decent center, and that's where I think he has most of his experience at center. So if you put Corey Levin at center, put Aaron Brewer at right guard, and then slide Daniel Brunskill to right tackle and shuffle it there. That way everybody's playing positions that they have experience in.
The only problem is I've seen Aaron Brewer play guard. I just think he's just too little, and I don't love him there. I just don't.
Yeah,
I'm not sure how I feel about it as a center, but I'll let that happen before I'm making a judgment on it. But I know as a guard he's not good, so I'm just not a fan of that.
I will say I think 2 games that Aaron Brewer started at center last year, I think he had – I heard the stats rattled off just a few days ago. I think he had – in 2 games he had 0 sacks and 1 pressure at center. So –
well, that then maybe he's good at that, but I didn't like him as a guard.
Yeah, so honestly, that's all I have. That's all the different combinations we can have. I guess what I would want would probably be George Fant or Dennis Kelly, or honestly the guy you said as well,
Jason Peters.
Honestly,
all 3 of those are good options. I wouldn't mind any of them.
As long as it needs to be like a better contract.
Yeah.
If like George Fant, he was just a starter for the last couple of years and he's a tackle, a premium position. So if he's saying, "Hey, I want give me $7 million this year," I'm like,
That's one reason I might want to do Kelly. I have a feeling he would be the cheapest of the 3.
Probably.
Because he's always been cheap. At least when he was for us, we didn't pay him anything.
Yeah. So, yeah. I guess that's all I got. Dennis Kelly, I'd say just Dennis Kelly being the cheapest. I'd say bring him in. He's 33. It's not like he's 37 years old. He's 33. Bringing Dennis Kelly to be our starter for 6 games. Plus, we needed a swing tackle anyway. So if Andre Dillard goes down, because Andre Dillard technically has had injury issues in his career. So if Andre Dillard goes down at some other part of the season, or if NPF comes back and then goes back down or something, just having the swing tackle is always helpful. So is there anything else you want to add?
Nope, I don't think so. I think if I had to narrow down what I would want exactly, Dennis Kelly. You won me over that one because I was feeling pretty good at Jason Peters, but I like Dennis Kelly. So Yeah, that's my. The others options sound good, but I'm not sure how I feel about mixed matches sometimes. And so the in-house thing, I don't know if I'm a fan of. I don't like because usually I'm like your best heel, your best heel, your best heel. I'm not a fan of just moving you heel and you to L. And
Yeah, the only in-house ones that I would be in favor of is keeping everybody where they are, and then just replacing NPF with either Jalen Duncan or Jamarco Jones.
yeah, because that kind of keeps most people in the same spot. You know.
Same. I agree. I don't want to like move people all over the place. So, anyways, I guess that's gonna do it for this